Yelich, a ground ball base hit left field. Off to the races is Gordon. On his way home. Ball game. Miami wins it. And Yelich with a walk-off hit. In Miami this afternoon, the Marlins and the Rays, presented by Chevrolet. Game 2, 3-game interleague set, the Citrus Series, so to speak. The Marlins and the Rays. Christian Yelich survived the game and survived the dunk by D. Gordon. The Marlins celebrating a walk-off win, a much-needed win for the Fish. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hunt. It wasn't pretty. Miami blew an 8-1 lead, but they get the win in walk-off fashion, a lot like last year.
Well, I tell you what, it was amazing last year. First of all, the Marlins in the major leagues led the majors in one-run games, one-run wins, last at-bat wins, and walk-off wins. I'll tell you what that means. That means, number one, you have some talent to do that. And number two, it means that you have a ball club that's not going to give up. And both clubs showed that in the game last night.
Both clubs in this game have good young starters going tonight, both the Marlins and the Rays. Start with the Marlins. Jared Cozart makes his debut. A blister issue pushed him back, so he's sitting right now in the 5 spot.
Yeah, making his first start of the year. Jared Cozart, though, has had success against the Tampa Bay Rays. He's 3-0 in his career against them with a real nice ERA.
Chris Archer's kind of the last man standing for the Rays. So many injuries to their starting rotation. Archer is really a bright young right-hander.
Yeah, he is. He's a solid pitcher. 10-9 last year. Lost a really tough game to the Marlins last year. A 1-0 loss to Henderson Alvarez. He's the best they have right now in the starting rotation.
He was the opening day starter for the Rays. Lost to the Orioles, Miami, and Tampa Bay. Oh! Christian Yelich, a walk-off winner. D. Gordon, posterized. Air Gordon, we'll hear from him. Let's head out to center field. Greg Minervini, Jeff Conine. Jets.
Thank you, Rich. Christian Yelich called it a charge. Should be a 0 on the dunk, but he'll take it.
It was the single greatest post-game celebration thing I've ever seen, because it was probably the only time I've ever seen it. But look at this. D. Gordon comes flying out of the dugout and posterizes Christian Yelich. I love the forearm and the neck on top, and look at the post reaction here. Just screaming, man. That was the best.
D. Gordon, an outstanding high school basketball player, was recruited by big-name colleges such as Louisville, makes the jam. Yelich took the charge, and the guys got a chance to enjoy it, and the Marlins' first win, we might add, after the game.
Yeah, it's his fault. I told him whoever does the good, they get dunked on, and he was the first victim. Hopefully he got many more.
I knew it was coming. It's something they've been talking about for a while. I kind of just had to stand there and wear it. I knew it was a matter of time. Everybody loved it, so it was worth it.
If you were 6'2", would you have played basketball?
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to dunk on Yelich yesterday. I'd be dunking with LeBron or something.
And it was Matt Latos who brought in the hoop, and they've been talking about it. I guess D said the last few days he's been dunking on Cozart. And they sort of forgot about this. Yesterday they went out and they were glad that Jessica Blaylock went with her interview. A few questions in, so Gordon had time to get the dunk in.
I mean, that was the greatest thing ever. And I got the posterized thing from my kids, so I was able to use that.
Yes.
And act like the cool dad, that gets the posterize in the NBA. That's a big thing going on.
That's a big deal. And for D. Gordon, big deal that he got all those stolen bases. What a difference he's made in the lineup so far.
Huge difference. The Marlins haven't seen his speed element at the top of this lineup in a lot of years. 4 runs scored last night because of that speed.
All right, so can the Marlins make it 2 in a row against their cross-state rivals, the Tampa Bay Rays and the Miami Marlins? Game 2 of this 3-game early season set coming up from Marlins Park.
Toyota, let's go places. Beautiful day as the evening creeps closer in Miami. 24-year-old Jared Cozart on the mound, and he takes aim at the Tampa Bay Rays. Kevin Kiermaier leads it off. Kiermaier a busy night last night, and strike 1 from Cozart. In the air, Gordon calling. And Kiermaier is out number 1. The Rays lineup. A 1-3 team coming in. It's brought to you by JM Lexus. You see what they've done this year on the right column. Kiermaier busy last night with 2 hits, knocked in 2. Steven Souza Jr. a slow start. Asdrubal Cabrera had some big hits last night. Evan Longoria is cold right now. Desmond Jennings in left. Alan Dykstra at first. Logan Forsythe at second. Bobby Wilson will do the catching. Chris Archer in the 9 spot.
Well, you have the feeling Longoria won't stay cold too long. We talked about Jared Cozart, the success he's had against Tampa Bay. 3 career starts, a 3-0 record, and a 1.17 ERA.
Steven Souza Jr. The 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Souza 0 for 3 in yesterday's ball game. Of course, a former Washington National. A pair of punch-outs yesterday, and the Rays are hopeful that his bat gets going here soon. And dips below the knees. Souza himself kind of stepped towards the dugout. And it's 1-2.
You know, as you watch Rich, Jared Cozart, watch the simplicity of his delivery, and it's something when he came over to the Marlins last year that he worked on. Keep it simple, keep it compact. You're going to mainly see fastballs and sliders. He tinkered with a changeup. He'd like to perfect that a little bit more.
Two is out, and the count full now. 3-2 as Souza in the 2 spot, and in right field. This is a Rays team that has been decimated by injuries, both in the starting rotation, in the bullpen, and out in the position players. Nick Franklin, James Loney, John Jaso, all on the 15-day DL. Swing and a miss, and down goes Souza.
Well, let's take a look at the Marlins defensively this afternoon. There's Christian Yelich, a Gold Glove winner last year. Marcell Ozuna, Giancarlo Stanton. What a tremendous young outfield. Prado, Echeverria, D. Gordon. What a game last night. Michael Morse at first, and Jared Saltalamacchia behind the plate.
Mike Redmond, from the ecstasy of an 8-1 lead to the agony of blowing that lead. The Marlins would take a 9-8 lead last night and then lose that lead again. Asdrubal Cabrera was in the middle of seemingly everything. He knocked in the tying run in the 7th, the tying run in the 9th. He takes a strike, and it's 1-1. It was an extraordinary comeback by the Rays last night. 8-1 Miami. Dan Herron had gone 6 innings. Mike Redmond had David Phelps in there. Yeah, from the get-go, things just didn't go right, starting with the ball that Stanton lost in the lights, to 3 bases loaded walks, and then the big pinch hit 3-run double by David DeJesus.
Well, when talking to Mike Redmond before the game, he said his game plan when his ball club had the 8-1 lead was to bring in David Phelps and let him finish the game, give him 3 innings.
Cabrera sprays it out to Echeverria on to first in time. 1-2-3 inning for Jared Cozart. Chris Archer on the hill after this. just like Tampa Bay at 1-3. Jam Lexus brings you Miami's lineup with what they've done so far. On the right column, you see Gordon has hit in every game. Yelich, a busy night last night. Giancarlo Stanton is in right. Michael Morse is at first. Martin Prado at third. Marcelo Zuna in center. Jared Saltalamacchia and Adeiny Echeverria both got their first hits of the year in last night's ball game. Jared Cozart is slotted ninth. And Chris Archer, the 26-year-old out of Clayton, North Carolina, gets his second start already of the season. Opening day starter, lost to the Orioles 6-2. Gave up 3 earned runs in 5 2/3, and Gordon shortens the bunt and takes in. It's 1-0. Pinch a penny, bring you that first pitch.
Very similar repertoires in these two pitchers. Fastball, sliders. It's an area that Archer's working on, a changeup. He'd like to use it a little bit more. He did so in the spring. Now it's a matter of getting confidence with the pitch. He's actually drafted by the Indians back in 2006. Signed a letter of intent to go to the University of Miami.
Pitch misses away, and it's 2-1. Gordon last night 3 for 5. He scored 4 runs. End of the bat, Archer off the mound, bare hands, and gets a nice play by Archer.
Yeah, it looked like the changeup too from Chris Archer.
And he's got a good one.
How about the defense for the Rays in this ball game this afternoon? Desmond Jennings, Kevin Kiermaier, Steven Souza in the outfield. Longoria, Cabrera on the left side, Logan Forsythe, Alan Dykstra over on the right side. And the starting catcher, Bobby Wilson, had a base hit in the ball game last night.
Yelich takes outside. Yelich, 2 hits last night, scored a couple runs. The shift last night on that game-winning hit had Cabrera more towards second base. He's straight on here. Yelich a liner to left. Jennings is in and there, and he makes the catch. The Rays are, as always, on the cutting edge in terms of defensive shifts. Joe Madden brought that with him from the Angels and was able to really employ it and exploit a lot of teams. Many organizations are now catching up and starting to do that as well, but the Rays still do it as well as anybody. And here is Stanton. A double. An RBI single. Drove in 3 last night. Also was hit by a pitch and walked. Archer spins that one up there and gets a strike. It's a ball and a strike. No home runs yet for Miami. 3 infielders on the third base side against Stanton. Archer 97 on that fastball.
We talked about how the Rays feel about Chris Archer. His contract, 6-year extension, takes him for a few years, so they're going to have him in their rotation for a while.
Stanton pops it up. Dykstra all alone over there, and he makes the catch. Archer and Cozart trade 1, 2, 3 innings.
Toyota.
Puerto Rican Heritage Night at the ballpark for the Marlins and the Rays. The Puerto Rican shirts with the Marlins logo on them. Rays go to work. Longoria bangs one to center field. Back goes Ozuna. Track at the wall. Makes the catch. Boy, Evan Longoria hit that a long, long ways. And it wasn't a high arcing fly ball either, Tommy. That one had a lot of juice behind it.
Yeah, there were a couple of well-hit balls last night that I think the Rays players in their ballpark at the Trop maybe would have been home runs, but not here. And tracked nicely by Marcell Ozuna. A little leap at the end. Kept his concentration and stayed right with it.
Desmond Jennings and Alan Dykstra will follow here in the second. Jared Cozart has retired the first 4 he's faced. Jennings was 1 for 4 last night. And a strike. You really have to feel for first-year manager Kevin Cash. Gets his first shot at managing. And he's got a roster that is absent a ton of talent, both in the rotation and in the starters. Echeverria flies up and makes the play and gets Desmond Jennings. And there are 2 outs. You can get the best seats for all the action at Marlins Park 2015. A variety of new season ticket packages, prorated full season, half season, 20-game mini plans, and the new 10-game pack. Plan start just $240. Secure your seats today. 1-877-MARLINS. Go to marlins.com/2015 tickets. And remember, with a season ticket plan, whether partial or full, you gain entry to Marlins batting practice. 4:30. Special gate open for those with a season ticket or a half season or a mini plan, and you get to watch Marlins batting practice for every home game. Marlins shift, they just swapped Prado for Echeverria. Prado was where Echeverria is now. He's now taking a spot over. For Prado, there's no issue in that. He plays everywhere. Dykstra's up, and he takes in from Cozart. It's 1-1.
To make your point, Rich, about this young ball club, 10 players on the Rays are making or have made their Rays debut. 7 rookies on the team and 12 pitchers. Their staff of 12 pitchers, a combined 99 wins.
Ground ball. Prado can't get it. Gordon's waiting on it, and he gets the out at first base. 6-pitch inning. Cozart's cruising into the bottom of the second in Miami. Marlins Rays scoreless. Park. Scoreless. Bottom of the second. The Marlins well represented. All-time Marlin lists. Well, you look down that lower left corner, you find 2 really good ones. Mike Lowell and Pudge for a year.
Some Gold Glove catching with Benito Santiago, a part of that list. Javier Vasquez, Carlos Delgado, what a career he put together.
And we were part of history when Edwin Rodriguez was managing the Marlins, and the Marlins went down to play the Mets in Puerto Rico. Remember that? The group that greeted Edwin at the hotel?
That was tremendous.
It was. It was a very emotional arrival for him. There it is. That's Edwin getting off the bus. And that was just the hotel.
That was before you and I showed up, too.
That's true. We did not have a pachanga band or anything. Nice play by Archer, and he picks it and flips to first and gets Michael Morse. Archer, I said it earlier, he's kind of the last man standing. Reinforcements are on the way. Drew Smiley is close. Alex Colomé is close. Smiley had left shoulder tendonitis. Colomé pneumonia.
Yeah, Smiley, by the way, pitched a couple of innings last night for their Class A ball club. And Colomé will start soon.
And Alex Cobb is also on the radar. And it's hopeful that Matt Moore, who had Tommy John surgery, is back in June. He should be back just before Jose Fernandez returns. And, of course, they're missing Jake McGee at the back of their bullpen. Late April time frame for McGee would be nice, certainly for Jim Hickey and Kevin Cash. So Archer, the opening day starter, and he's retired all 4 that he's faced. He's 1-1 on Martin Prado. He really is an exceptional young man. And you and I, a couple times last year on our way to the ballpark, separately heard interviews with him on MLB radio, on XM. They've got themselves a good one. There's Cash. And his bench coach, Tom Foley. Liner to right, well hit, and a nice running catch there by Steven Souza. So a pair of outs. Monday on NASCAR Race Hub. We'll have a complete recap of everything that went on in Texas, including Winners Weekend. Sprint Cup winner takes right through the weekend from practice to the checkered flag. NASCAR Race Hub is Monday and every weeknight, 6 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Tommy Hutton and Brian Anderson oftentimes will text each other while that show is on.
Always have to stay up to speed, I guess would be a good way to put it. Hey, by the way, we saw that shot of Tom Foley. Mentioned a Miami guy, went to Palmetto High School. Tom Foley then on to Dade South. Quite an impressive high school athlete. Told me he still has a sister that lives here. So always enjoys coming back to Miami.
Marcell Ozuna swings and misses. When you're a rookie manager, and Kevin Cash is, and you could turn to Jim Hickey, who some consider the best pitching coach in the game, and Tom Foley, who's been in the organization for 13 years, and Derek Shelton, who's in his 6th year as the Rays hitting coach. That's a real nice comfort. And if he can survive a game like last night, I think Kevin Cash can manage these National League games. Ozuna swings and misses, and Archer.
Good stuff.
Archer is cruising and looking smooth. He's retired all 6.
Welcome back here to Marlins Park. Middle game of this three-game series coming up. I'm Craig Benavini here, right next to the Marlins dugout. Well, it's Puerto Rican Heritage Day, as you heard the guys talking about, and the Marlins had one of the most exciting trips you could have. Very unique, off to Puerto Rico, where they love baseball, the territory. The fans were ready, the bands were ready for the San Juan series at Hiram Bithorn Stadium. Hanley had a home run in that game. And also, right as we were just about to go on one of our hits toward our end of our pregame show, the owner, Jeffrey Loria, came over. They huddled around the dugout, and Jeffrey told Edwin Rodriguez that he would be managing for the rest of the year. And that was a big deal down there, and they celebrated right there at that stadium, which was a perfect spot, of course. And the Marlins and Mets played a very entertaining series, and that was the moment. They got hugs. The entire team came over and gave a hug to Edwin, who was very well liked, not only by the organization, but by the guys that got to know him, some of them in the minor leagues. Good guy we still run into every now and then in the baseball circles, Edwin Rodriguez. And that was a great series, not only for the excitement, but I think you could feed off the energy, guys, in that ballpark from those fans who love baseball so much and continue to support the Winter League games down there over the years.
Yeah, Craig, it was fun for all of us to go on that trip. Bobby Wilson, who came in and had a hit last night in the ball game, gets the start behind the plate. Marlins and Rays played 10 innings last night. Cozart's pitch bounced to third. Prado around it and fires on over to first.
Of course, then again, Rich, the Marlins-Rays game last night, just a little blip on the screen compared to what the Yankees and Red Sox did in their 7 hours, almost 7 hours, 19 innings.
And they have finished up in the Bronx today. Boston won again, this time in 9 innings, 8-4. Boston's now 4-1 in the American League East. I think if you're the Rays, as Archer takes a strike, you're trying to tread water as best you can until everybody gets back, or enough people get back that you can feel comfortable in running out a full rotation. Last night, the Rays went by committee with Steve Geltz out of the bullpen getting the start, and then a cast of thousands would pitch from that point on. Erasmo Ramirez, Grant Balfour, Matt Andriese, Kirby Yates, Jeff Beliveau, Ernesto Frieri, and Brad Boxberger finished. 2-1 to Archer, and his ground ball trickles out onto the grass. Gordon is there. That's an 8-pitch in. Boy, Cozart and Archer are both in a groove right now. Now 10-game plan start as low as $240. Include tickets to some of this season's biggest games at Marlins Park. Quantities limited. Secure your 10-game plan today. 1-877-MARLINS. Go to marlins.com/2015 tickets. Jose Fernandez His rehab continues, and by all accounts, he should be ready to go mid to late June. No setbacks, nothing but glowing reviews. Here comes Saltalamacchia. If you're thinking at home, hey, I'll bet you that clock has expired, and how come they haven't started the inning? That's because whenever a pitcher or a catcher is involved in the last play, whether on the bases or at the plate, all bets are off. Umpires will give the pitcher or the catcher enough time to get to the dugout, get set, and get back to the mound.
We can call that a clock courtesy.
Yes. Okay, I like that. Saltalamacchia, Echeverria, and Cozart. Archer, of course, was the guy that made that last out. He jams Saltalamacchia, who lines it right to Longoria. One pitch, one out here in the third.
That's amazing how this game is. There's that clock that's used between innings. 40 seconds. Batters then announced. And I think so far, from what we've seen early in the season, I think we could see guys making an effort to get into the batter's box. We see pitchers making an effort to be ready to throw.
Here is Echeverria, and Archer throws a strike. Echeverria last night 1 for 5. Had a double, drove in a run. Jared Cozart on deck. Archer's changeup misses in. Jim Hickey was talking late last year about Archer's changeup. He said it's right along the lines of a Felix Hernandez type. There's a swing and a miss 8 out of 10 times. But what Hickey said he really needs to clean up is command of the fastball. Once he learns command of the fastball, he can be the best of the bunch, even better than David Price was as a Ray.
Well, as a person, he made a tremendous impression on David Price when they were teammates.
Struck him out. Archer strikes out Echeverria. Give us a scouting report on the 26-year-old out of Clayton, North Carolina.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that changeup. That fastball's live, 93 to 97. Hard slider. He's athletic, but that doesn't always translate into making good plays. Sometimes he gets a little jittery out there. He'll throw a ball away. I think he threw a ball away in his first start this year against the Orioles.
To me, he's as fascinating a player as there is in Major League Baseball.
It's a pretty good deal the Rays made when they acquired him.
Right back to Archer. Flips on over to first. 7 pitches. Anything you can do, Jared Cozart, Chris Archer can do as well. Cozart will take the role of scout. He'll scout himself when we return. Cozart scout himself.
A lot of energy, sometimes too much. I'm a pretty fiery guy out there. Not crazy emotional, but you can definitely see I'm pretty motivated by all the fans and everything like that. I'm going to attack you with my fastball. I have a mid-90s fastball like everyone else on this team does, so I rely on a lot of movement as well. I cut my fastball a little bit. I have what I would classify as a power curve ball. It's anywhere from 80 to 84 miles an hour, and then I'm trying to perfect the changeup. It's been a couple years in the makings, and it's getting better every year. I actually spoke with Alvarez about his grip, so I'm kind of experimenting with just moving the ball around a little bit and doing some things with that, and it's coming along nicely. So that's definitely the least of the 3 pitches you'll see, but hopefully this year it becomes more of a weapon for me.
Well, there you see the fastball, 4-seam, breaking ball, uses that kind of one knuckle, kind of a spike, and then working on the changeup. I always think it's interesting, Rich, in Cozart talking about how he's talked to Henderson Alvarez about the changeup, and the story you had the other night about Alvarez.
That's true. That ball down the line, and Kevin Kiermaier has the first hit of the ball game. Stanton retrieves it in the corner, and Kiermaier, who's off to a really nice start with the Rays this year, has got himself a double, a leadoff double here in the 4th.
Yeah, this guy's a terrific player, just from what we've seen, and he can play the outfield without question. Big home run, a couple of hits last night. Kiermaier still just 24. He'll be 25 April 22nd, but gets things started. And when you're playing a game with 2 pitchers working the way Archer and Cozart are, the importance even grows to get that one run, that first run. So we'll see how the Rays play it.
And for Souza now, who has struggled in the series, a chance to try to move this runner over. Cozart missing away. You've got Asdrubal Cabrera and then Evan Longoria to follow.
Just to finish that thought, you had the story of Alvarez watching Felix Hernandez throw his changeup.
Yeah, that was back in 2012 when Alvarez was a Blue Jay. Saw King Felix throwing his changeup in the low 90s, 90, 91. Alvarez changeup at that point was in the mid 80s, 85, 86. And he said, I can do that. I can throw my changeup that hard. And he started to do it, and he got a lot more movement, and a lot more success would follow.
Alvarez here tomorrow against Nate Carnes.
That closes the series tomorrow at 1. It's such an odd quirk of the schedule to have the Marlins and the Rays playing here in early April.
Because of the next time they play each other.
That's right. Late 2-1. Cozart just misses.
The Marlins will be in St. Pete September 29th, 30th, and October 1st. That's the next time they see the Rays.
Leadoff double by Kevin Kiermaier. Tampa Bay trying to get on the board first. Cozart picking at that corner, and he ends up walking a cold hitter in Souza. And here is Asdrubal Cabrera. Now it's the teeth of Tampa Bay's order: Cabrera, Longoria, and Jennings. So a great opportunity here for the Rays. Cabrera, the 29-year-old Venezuelan. Marlins saw him last year, the tail end of the season with the Nationals, after a 7-year run with the Cleveland Indians. Cabrera joining a long list of terrific young players that the Seattle Mariners traded away, trying to get themselves righted back in 2005, 2006. Eduardo Perez went from Cleveland to Seattle. Gordon out there, turned by Echeverria, and a double play. Cabrera goes down 4-6-3. Nice turn by Echeverria, who had Souza right on top of him.
Boy, it all starts with D. Gordon. Strong feed, chest high. And there's Echeverria, who gets upended by Souza, but completes the play. And Jared Cozart, any pitcher, will love that double play in that situation.
Now Cozart faces Evan Longoria, who is 0 for 6 in the series, but he hit a blast back in the second, sending Ozuna to the wall about 405 feet away from home plate. That one has Gordon and Stanton converging. It's Stanton who makes the catch, and Cozart pitches out of that first and second nobody out spot. By Checkers. Get Checkers authentic Philly cheesesteak. Try the new meatball sub. Pick yours, 2 for $5. By Subaru of Pembroke Pines. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. By Lexus of Pembroke Pines. Price, service, selection. You're gonna love us. Night creeping closer in Miami. Rays and Marlins scoreless. Thanks to that man, Jared Cozart, pitching out of first and second, nobody out situation. Double play ball from Asdrubal Cabrera, pop up off the bat of Evan Longoria. Top of the order for Miami, second time through against Chris Archer. And he throws a pretty good fastball. Looked like a strike. That's 1-0.
We're talking about how Archer became a Ray, having been drafted by the Indians. He was traded to the Cubs from Cleveland in a deal that sent Mark DeRosa to Cleveland, then acquired by the Rays, along with outfielder Sam Fuld and Brandon Guyer, for Garza. Cozart had a little blister problem in spring training. So we'll have to keep our eye on that.
Slapper out to the shortstop Cabrera, and he gets the out. It was not on the outside of the hand, the blister that Cozart had. It was his middle finger. That looks like a cut.
Yeah, that's something
on his
different.
hand. Gordon is retired, and now here is Yelich.
Make sure the Marlins have a good cut man to stop the bleeding.
Archer gets an early start on Yelich. It's 0-1. Yelich lined to left his first time up. We asked the question to everyone, which Marlin's going to hit the first home run of 2015? And I went with Yelich. I think Stanton is the obvious choice.
Yelich had nine home runs last year, and And I think certainly as a 23-year-old, as he matures, we'll see double digits in home runs.
That's a fair ball. Down the line it goes. And it rattles down into the corner. Jennings after it. Yelich has got himself a double. That was a good live fastball from Archer, and Yelich banged it the other way.
Boy, that's just Christian Yelich to perfection. Entire field is used by Yelich. This time at third baseline, gets it past Longoria. Gozard likes it.
Now Stanton. Interleague average, for whatever reason, Yelich in interleague play is hitting .368. And that's all time. There can't be any rhyme or reason to this, right? This has to be happenstance.
Yeah, because there isn't any continuity to interleague play. Like Wally Joyner on that list, though. But yeah, because of the way the sporadic nature of the way the games are played.
Rays infield has been shifted for Stanton throughout the series. And that 97-mile-an-hour fastball, Stanton fouls back. Had 2 big run-scoring hits last night. 2-run double and an RBI single. Archer, good slider, gets a strike.
Well, he's got strikes with the fastball, then with the slider.
Morse on deck. Down he goes. And Archer strikes out Stanton. So with 2 outs, Michael Morse comes up.
Well, that's one of those ABs that Giancarlo Stanton is just not going to like. He'll probably, if not sometime during the game, after the game, look at that AB just to figure out where did it go wrong. He didn't have good swings there.
Morse bounced to first back in the 2nd inning. Archer had faced the minimum before the Yelich double. And that one's off of Archer's glove. Forsythe has to go to his left. He gets there and makes the play. Both teams threaten in the 4th. Neither team scores. To the 5th we go.
The Rays, of course, led by Joe Madden, popularized the shifts, which have exploded in Major League Baseball. The Marlins say they're going to use the shift a little more this year than they have in past years. Perry Hill has got it down to a science defensively, so the Marlins probably in the lower third of the teams with the shift. But it did work here against Alan Dykstra. Will be up this inning. Back in the second inning when they had the 3 men on the right side, you saw D. Gordon converging there with Prado, and Gordon made the play in the back end and got the out. But we haven't seen it from the Marlins as much as other teams. Perry Hill's been, the Marlins infield coach, has been keeping track of hitters for years and years. He's got his system, but Mike Redmond told me they're going to incorporate maybe looking at his system and incorporating using the shift a little more often. But you won't see it like the extreme version that the Rays use among other teams.
And Craig, the Marlins are hopeful that, and it's good stuff there, they're hopeful that when they do shift, they're more efficient than they were last year in terms of efficiency.
Yeah, with Perry Hill and his, he's regarded as perhaps the best infield coach in baseball. He's been tracking this. He makes marks no matter what field they're at. So with his insight and maybe using the shift in spots, the Marlins feel like they could be on the top of this.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Desmond Jennings is up, 2-1 pitch. The other thing to keep an eye on is Jared Cozart and his right hand. You saw him in the dugout nursing what looked to be a cut.
Yeah, it's not on any of the fingertips or anything like that. It's on the side of the right hand.
You can see the residual on the pant there. Jennings fouls it back. The count's 2-2. The blister was on the middle finger in spring training. He's kind of indicating that when he swung, he did something, popped open a cut. Dan Herron in there for a look.
Well, think about it. It's his top hand as he swung, but he had batting gloves on both hands.
Full count, 3-2.
Well, Cozart went 4-4 after being acquired by the Marlins last year in 10 starts. 4-4 with a 2.39 ERA.
And he walks him. So a leadoff walk to Desmond Jennings. 1:10 start tomorrow, and we get things underway with Marlins Live. Brought to you by your South Florida Honda dealers. Greg Minervini and Jeff Conine in their Sunday best. Time of game. We'll talk about the first week of Major League games and see how they've done in terms of speeding up the game. The entertainer gets the ball. Henderson Alvarez for Miami. Now big Alan Dykstra. A shift that Craig just documented is on right now for Dykstra. Nathan Carnes makes his second start for the Rays.
Kind of interesting with the shift on as to who covers if Desmond Jennings takes off. A guy who 4 straight years has 15 or more stolen bases.
Well, Martin Prado right now and Echeverria are discussing that behind the bag. The key there is whoever covers, someone has to be aware of third base. Because we've seen it before, a runner getting to second and then bolting to third with everybody shifted over. Hit hard, Morse has got it, got the out, bobbles. And holding at second is Jennings. Morse tagged the bag, and then as he wheeled to throw, lost it in the transfer.
Boy, good play, though, to get to that ball. There's the transfer. Once he bobbled, he didn't have a chance. He's so close to the bag that you have to take the out that way. It was a good jump by Jennings, who runs really well. Would have been a tough play to get him. I watched Prado, though, race over to third base when that ball was hit to make sure somebody was at third. He was listening to you.
Here's Forsythe. Jennings in scoring position. And Forsythe takes a strike. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Logan Forsythe and the Tampa Bay Rays, another opportunity here in the fifth. Scoreless game. Each team has just one hit. Jared Cozart and Chris Archer, who are built similarly. They're all both kind of tall and thin. They have similar deliveries and styles. Outfield playing Forsythe to right center field.
Thought for a second, Rich, when you were reading the disclaimer, that you were going to say without express written consent of the Santurce Crabbers.
Well, they on Puerto Rican Heritage Night, they are the New York Yankees of teams from Puerto Rico in the winter leagues.
Cangrejeros de Santurce.
2-2. Bouncer up the middle. Gordon there, and he gets the out. So Cozart, who escaped the fourth with runners first and second, and nobody on. Needs to get Bobby Wilson and keep Jennings at third if he's going to escape here.
You don't have to give Wilson a whole lot to hit, because on deck is Chris Archer, who's 0 for 9 in his career. Hasn't had a lot of opportunities as a hitter.
Wilson takes away. John Jaso opened the season on the active roster, but just couldn't answer the bell, placed on the 15-day disabled list. Rays hopeful to get Nick Franklin back, put him up the middle. James Loney.
Hope Loney's not out too long.
An important part of their offense. Desmond Jennings 90 feet away. Cozart with 2 outs. And it's 2-1. In the dirt, Saltalamacchia knocks it down. And even though the teams have the same record, the Rays at 1-3, the Marlins at 1-3, the expectations and the preseason hype on both teams very different. Lots of expectations on the Marlins end. And of course, that's what made that sweep at the hands of the Braves sting so much. For the Rays, not only lots of changes, but so many injuries. Wilson with a big cut, 93-mile-an-hour fastball, counts full at 3-2.
The Braves kept on rolling last night, a 5-3 win against the Mets. Jason Grilli picked up his 3rd save.
Atlanta is 4-0. Three-two coming. It's out. Wilson walks. Cozart now gets Archer, the pitcher.
You know, that's okay. He figured, okay, I'm going to try to make a perfect pitch. And he did. Got it on the outer part of the plate. Should have been strike 3. And if you're Cozart, that's what you wanted to do. You didn't want to give in to Wilson. You wanted to make a perfect pitch. He did. He just didn't get the call.
Archer fouls it back. Last night, the first time that the Rays have played a game in a National League Park where the pitcher didn't have a plate appearance. Of course, they went by committee, and so pinch hitters appeared throughout the game. Last year, Rays pitchers 1 for 22, drove in a couple runs.
They also did something last night that was only done once all of last year in the major leagues, and that's score 7 runs in an inning and lose.
One. Archer hits it well. Gordon to a knee, and he gets the out. Cozart escapes Again, halfway through, scoreless. Santurce, the Crabbers, when we return. Pachanga Band, Rich Waltz, along with Tommy Hutton. Now, to get a true taste of Puerto Rico, we've been there. We talked about the Marlins trip to San Juan to play the Mets. But our producer, John Sulzer, has this coat.
Oh, yeah.
And if he were to walk down the streets of San Juan with this coat, people would stop and notice. This is Santurce, the Santurce Crabbers coat. It's 1951.
Kind of like the Yankees in Puerto Rico. Look at that, 13 league championships, 5 times Caribbean Series titles. And how about that Panic Squad team in 54 and 55? Roberto Clemente and Willie Mays on that same team.
And they played their home games at our favorite spot, Iram Bithorn Stadium. The Yankees of Puerto Rican baseball, they say. Or Caribbean baseball.
Be a great way to put it, yes. I want to hear Raul say Escuadrón del Pánico.
Del Pánico.
What's up, guys? Pánico. Hey, there he is.
Now, you're from Santurce, right?
Yes, sir. I was born in Santurce, in Doctor's Hospital over there, and wasn't there too long, but definitely my father is from Mayagüez, so he's he's an Indios fan. The Indians from Mayagüez and los Cangrejeros de Santurce, which, if I'm not mistaken, they face each other this year in the final in the Puerto Rican League before the Caribbean World Series, which is actually held in Puerto Rico this year.
Santurce won. You are correct. Now, growing up, the 0-2 to Prado is on the ground and gobbled up there by Forsythe as Chris Archer continues to really keep the Marlins handcuffed in this ball game. Growing up, is it accurate to say that the Crabbers, Santurce, is one of the most storied franchises, not only in Puerto Rico but in the Caribbean baseball?
I would say back in the day, definitely, for whatever reason, which I still completely do not understand, the new rules with respect to Puerto Rican baseball players and now having to go through the draft has really affected in a negative way baseball in Puerto Rico. For whatever reason, young talent now does not opt for baseball. I still, I've spoken to several people about it, and I really don't understand it. Venezuela and República Dominicana right now, I would say, are the more dominant teams, and especially also Cuba, now that things are changing politically, will be a factor as well. But you're talking about in the winter leagues where guys like Reggie Jackson, Frank Howard, from what my dad used to tell me, would play down there in the off season to stay in shape. So definitely, I don't know as far as the entire team, but there was great talent that would go down to Puerto Rico in the winter to stay in shape.
That's right. I think there are fewer major leaguers will go play winter ball. I remember years ago talking to Jose Cruz. He used to play every year. He'd play a full schedule here, then he'd go and play winter ball.
Definitely. Cheo Cruz, big talent in Puerto Rico in the 80s, and with the Astros, also played with the Yankees as well. And I swear to God, I just do not get it. I've spoken to a lot of guys, and I don't understand why a change in the way that you enter the major leagues would affect guys deciding whether or not they want to play.
Well, let's hope it swings back the other way.
I know Carlos Baerga has been doing a lot of work over there trying to get everything back up to speed to what it used to be.
All right, Raul, have a safe ride the rest of the way.
Thanks. You too, fellas.
Chris Archer has been outstanding for the Rays. Archer is 2 outs into this 5th. He's facing Jared Saltalamacchia. Christian Yelich double is the only blemish on his day so far, and that came in the 4th inning.
Well, each team has one double. Kevin Kiermaier double for the Rays, and Yelich's double for the Marlins.
Pitch misses away. 97-mile-an-hour fastball, and the count is 2-1.
One more note, Rich, on that Braves win against the Mets. I was looking at their bullpen last night. 4 shutout innings, gave up 1 hit. And remember, here in this series here, they went 9 shutout innings and gave up just 3 hits.
Saltalamacchia lifts it into shallow left. Cabrera is out. Jennings is in, and Jennings makes the catch. And Miami is done in the 5th to the 6th. Scoreless ballgame. Back to Roy Oswalt and a young bunch of Marlins in 2008. Our Geico this date in Marlins history. Jeremy Hermida had a couple of home runs, 6 homers. Was that Mike Rebello I saw hitting a home run in that group?
And there's Mike Jacobs. And one of the reasons we show you that is obviously the Marlins hitting a lot of home runs. The longest the Marlins have gone to start a season without homering was in their inaugural season, 1993. They went 7 games before their first home run.
It's another thing that these two starters share. You saw their lines, very, very similar. Archer, the big difference on the line is the fact that Cozart has walked 3 and Archer has walked no one. But both these guys are really tough to homer against. Cozart in 30 starts last year gave up 9 homers. Archer in 32 starts gave up a dozen. Third time through now for the top of the order for Tampa Bay. Kiermaier, Souza, and Asdrubal Cabrera. Kevin Kiermaier doubled in the 4th. Really nice start to the season for Kiermaier. And a strike. A called strike. What a difference to last night's game with all the different guys throwing for the Rays. Geltz, Ramirez, Balfour, and Drees.
14 pitchers were used in the game last night. The only game that used more, of course, was that Boston Yankee game. They used 17 different pitchers in that game.
Rays used 5 different pitchers in the first 7 innings. Kevin Cash emptied his bench. Miami blew an 8-1 lead and then a 9-8 lead. Kiermaier got jammed and floats it out by the bag at second. So 1 out here in the 6th. Jose's Heroes returning for 2015. So's Jose, actually. Reserve your seat in the Jose's Heroes area for all regular season games. Just $6 a game. You'll get a commemorative Jose Heroes t-shirt, K-cards, and chances to win other great prizes. Go to marlins.com/2015 tickets or call 1-877-MARLINS. Now Souza, who's mired in somewhat of a slump to start the year. He's 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts and a walk in this series. This game 2. Game 3 finishes it tomorrow, a 1:10 start. The Marlins then head on a long road trip. The Rays are headed to Toronto. A 4-gamer with the Blue Jays. It starts on Monday night. Jake Odorizzi against R.A. Dickey in that first game.
Who are playing well, the Toronto Blue Jays. The Marlins will be up in Toronto this year.
Toronto 3-1 takes on Baltimore tonight at Camden Yards. Boston is now 4-1 in that American League East. They beat New York again today, 8-4.
Yeah, the Marlins will be up to take on the Jays June 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Not sure if that's a bat, a kazoo, or a vuvuzela. That would be a bat. Like a youth wiffle ball bat. 1-2 to Souza. And it's up.
Rich, what do you think our good friends Dwayne Stats and BA are doing on this gorgeous afternoon in Miami?
After a day in the surf and on the sand, I suspect they're having a cocktail and possibly watching the telecast.
I would go for the first one. I don't know if they're watching the telecast, but probably refreshing themselves.
I think Dwayne right now is trying to get the mojito out of his mustache. We miss him. We look over there, and it's that booth is lonely, and we appreciate the Rays viewers that have joined us tonight to watch the Marlins and the Rays. Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. Wayne and B.A. will be by, and Todd Callis tomorrow. Rays have been a fun team to watch for us over the last 7-8 years. You go back to that World Series year in 2008. From 2008 through 2013, a 6-year run. The Rays had 5 90-plus win seasons and 4 postseasons in that run. High fly ball. Yelich under it, weaves and bobs a bit, and makes the catch. Fox Sports Florida is partnering with Checkers. Our good friends Dwayne and I know Checkers quite well, offering the Citrus Series sweepstakes. It's your chance to win a prize pack full of Fox Sports Florida and Marlins team gear. Here's how to enter. Throughout the Citrus Series, tweet #BiggestMiamiFan and #Sponsored 2, Sun Sports, Fox Sports Florida. That's it. At the end of the series, we'll pick one random winner, the grand prize. It's Dribble Cabrera now. Jared Cozart getting a couple outs in the air in the 6th. Cabrera, key batter in the 4th as far as Cozart's concerned. Kiermaier had doubled, Souza had walked, and Cabrera bounced into a 4-6-3 double play. Longoria would pop the next pitch up, and Cozart was out of that inning.
Well, you talk about efficiency. Both pitchers, Chris Archer, Jared Cozart, extremely efficient today.
Here's a 1-1. You know, one residual effect from yesterday's ball game for both managers. What's the state of the bullpens? For the Rays, they started their bullpen in yesterday's game, and everybody seemingly came in. Boxberger finished, Frieri, Beliveau, Yates, Andriese, Balfour. Geltz started.
Mike Redmond felt everyone should be okay. He was going to check after batting practice, though, with A.J. Ramos to see how he felt.
Marlins, I mean, the design was hand the ball to David Phelps and get 3 innings out of him and go home. Instead, they got a third of an inning, and 4 guys had to come in from there. That one's hit pretty well from Cabrera. Ozuna won't get it, and it's by him, and that's trouble. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Cabrera is racing on his way to third, and he is there. And the Rays have a runner at third with 2 outs. Ozuna tried to make a diving catch, and he paid the price.
Yeah, he did. Sometimes this ball has a little knuckling effect, a little sink to it, and it sunk a little quicker, I think, than Ozuna thought. He reaches, and he doesn't make contact. He didn't get leather on the ball. And you know, with the spacious outfield here, once that ball gets by a center fielder, it's 3 bases for the hitter. That's where the Dribble Cabrera found.
So a triple, and here is Longoria with another opportunity to knock in a run. 2 outs.
Longoria has been pretty aggressive, probably why he took that pitch. His previous 2 at-bats, he's seen 2 pitches and made 2 outs.
The first was spectacular. It was a 405-foot drive to center. And it was caught by a running Ozuna. The other a pop out. Ball and a strike. Cozart has had to pitch around trouble in each of the last 3 innings. Told you about the 4th, the Cabrera double play. He walked a pair in the 5th. Longoria to right center. That ball's hit well and deep. No one's going to get it. To the wall it goes, and the Rays have the first run of the ball game. An RBI double with 2 outs from Evan Longoria.
With the Rays with just 3 hits, but 2 doubles and a triple give them a 1-0 lead. This is just a solid stroke by Evan Longoria. You know what? If you average in his 7 years, he's given you 26 home runs, 91 RBIs, Gold Glove defense at third base. And they love to keep him healthy. He played in every game last year.
Desmond Jennings now has bounced out and walked. And the Rays have their first lead of this series. First run of this ball game. Cozart, pitch number 83, is on the corner at 94 miles an hour. And the way Chris Archer is throwing right now, 1 run might be enough. Archer just 53 pitches in, has given up 1 hit, hasn't walked anyone.
I remember when the Marlins acquired Jared Cozart last July, giving up Colin Moran, first-round pick, and Jake Marisnick. Marisnick has made that Houston club and had a nice game last night. Had 3 hits. Solid outfielder.
Mike Redmond, Chuck Hernandez. Close eye on Jared Cozart. Top of the 6th. A run across. Bouncer back to the mound. Cozart has it. Fires on to first in time, but Tampa Bay strikes first. 2-out triple by Asdrubal Cabrera, and Evan Longoria knocks him home with a double. Night, so to speak. The Rays have a 1-0 lead. All-time Major League leaders from Puerto Rico. Javi Vasquez, 165 wins. And some feel if he were to pick up baseball and get ready in a month, he'd be winning games again.
Yeah, how about the numbers of Carlos Delgado? Hall of Fame worthy? Debatable.
Chris Archer, quite worthy. Will, Puerto Rican heritage with the shirt. Cozart, his day done. Ichiro is on deck. Not a lot of noise in and out of the Marlins lineup against Archer. Christian Yelich double back in the 4th, and that's it. He has struck out 4. He's walked no one. Effective, efficient. Moments ago, there's the handshake from Chuck Hernandez. And here is Ichiro.
Once again, the Marlins get a terrific start from their starting pitcher.
Ichiro pinch hitting. Ichiro has 1 pinch hit this year. It was a bunt. He's not hit well against Archer in his career. Not many have, but Ichiro 3 for 14. Take notice certainly of a guy as accomplished as Ichiro. He takes in, and it's 2-0.
Ichiro has had a pinch hit at bat in each of the first 4 games now.
Ball in the dirt, and Archer maybe startled to see Ichiro in the National League in the Marlins uniform.
I've seen you before.
Yeah. You look at Fox Tracks. First 2 pitches, Ichiro got a break.
You talked about Chris Archer, what a terrific young man he is. Makes a point on homestands to visit the St. Pete hospitals. tries to go to the juvenile detention center and encourage the kids there.
Ichiro walks. So a leadoff walk, or excuse me, a 1-out walk to Ichiro. And Archer, looking at the Fox tracks, had 3 of those in the zone. Not dead middle, but in the zone.
And the funny part about that, Ichiro usually swings at those. He's a tough guy to walk.
Yeah, he is an early contact guy. He doesn't wait around for a lot to happen at the plate. Here's Gordon now. Ichiro can still run.
We saw him pick up a few stolen bases in spring training.
Archer to the plate. It's outside. Cold hard fact brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Last night against the Rays, 3 for 4, 4 runs, 2 stolen bases. Crowd reacting to Jim Hickey out there right now, and the entire infield on the pitching dirt.
Well, you talked about it last night, Rich. One of the highly respected pitching coaches in this game, Jim Hickey. You know, the thing about Archer, I was told when he goes to the juvenile detention centers, he talks to these kids and doesn't say, hey, you can become like me or you can become a professional athlete. He encourages them to read. He encourages them to get their degree and to move on from there.
Gordon fouls it back to the screen. He was day after opening day on Tuesday. He and Steven Souza were at Children's Hospital in St. Pete. The 1-1. Yes. And Gordon couldn't lay off a high fastball. It's 1-2.
They committed. Make that commitment on that high heat. It's tough to stay off of it.
Do you start Ichiro here?
I would say possibly sometime during this at bat, and it's time's running out with the count 1-2.
He runs, and Gordon fouls it off. Good jump.
Because you have, with 2 strikes, you have a guy you hope makes contact. Got a good chance to make contact in D. Gordon.
Well, everything looked good from Ichiro on that attempt. He's running again, pitches up. Wilson's throw is in time, and Ichiro is out. Great pitch to throw on for Wilson, a high fastball, and his throw was right on the mark.
Yeah, and Ichiro knew it. It was like almost like a pitch out, being a high fastball. And he took a peek right there, and once he saw that pitch, he knew it was going to be tough to steal second base.
Nice job by Cabrera to make the catch and hold on. And it's 2-2 now on Gordon. D. Gordon stays alive. Chris Archer has given up a double to Yelich in the 4th, a walk to Ichiro in the 6th, and that's it. And he's still at a very economical 67 pitches. That was number 67 there. He'd like to get Gordon and not let Yelich come up. Yelich has hit the ball hard against him twice. Fouled, and Wilson can't hold it.
As far as Jared Cozart, through the first 4 innings, he threw just 36 pitches. Innings 5 and 6, though, he threw 50 pitches. He was taxed a little bit more, but still is out of this game, having given up just 1 run and 3 base hits in 6 innings.
3-2 from Chris Archer to D. Gordon. On the ground. And Forsythe gets the out. Chris Archer has been outstanding in this one, beating Miami 1-0. Marlins and Rays of the Citrus Series. Tommy Hutt, Craig Minervini, Jack Conine, Rich Waltz with you. It's 1-0. Chris Archer has outpitched Jared Cozart. Cozart is out. Mike Dunn is in. Last night, Miami's bullpen, David Phelps, Sam Dyson, and A.J. Ramos. 3 bases loaded walks. Ramos giving up the 3-run double, pinch hit double by David DeJesus, and then the game-tying single to Asdrubal Cabrera. Steve Cishek, Brian Morris would also work for the Marlins. Dunn throws a strike.
Mike Dunn has had 2 outings this year, and they both have been extremely good.
Tim Beckham is pinch hitting for Alan Dykstra. Beckham fouls it back. So Beckham getting the at-bat here against the left-hander Dunn. Triple with 2 outs by Asdrubal Cabrera in the 6th, followed by Evan Longoria's RBI double to right. Longoria knocking it to the wall in right center. That's it for scoring for either team. Chris Archer has been splendid. Miami has just 1 hit. Archer has struck out 4, walked 1. Jared Cozart, 6 innings, 3 hits, a run, 3 walks, and just 1 strikeout. Kevin Jepson, the only reliever who didn't work last night. One-two to Beckham. And he fouls it off. We saw Beckham late in last night's ball game. Beckham, the 25-year-old, a Georgian. Griffin, Georgia. Great high school athlete.
Yeah, wide receiver, played basketball.
Fouls that one back.
A lot of games in the minor leagues, mostly as a shortstop.
It was the first overall pick of the 2008 draft. Breaking ball turns on it, and it's 2-2. Rays headed to Toronto for 4. Then they've got the Yankees coming into St. Pete on the 17th, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Boston comes in after that. Toronto is in after that. So a great homestand for the Rays when they get back in a week. Yankees, Red Sox, Blue Jays.
I think too, Rich, when you kind of assess the American League East, there isn't that powerhouse team that you're going to say, okay, they look like the front runners. I mean, the Red Sox have great offense and pitching questions. The Yankees, they're just getting older. The Orioles, a lot of prognosticators like the Orioles, some like the Blue Jays. It's a year of growth for the Rays. They just need to get all their guys back healthy.
Beckham gets into that one, drills it left field, and it's not coming back. Deep home run off the facing of the Budweiser balcony. My goodness. Tim Beckham, a solo homer. Greets Mike Dunn.
Well, didn't have much playing time last year because of knee surgery. A 10-pitch at bat, and on pitch number 10, Tim Beckham hit it a long way.
And he knew it when he hit it. It's his first major league home run. So a big moment for the Griffin, Georgia native.
But I'll tell you what, when your first major league home run is a no-doubter in a big ballpark, you know you got it. Wow, look at all those pitches.
Pitch number 10, inner part, and it left in a hurry. Logan Forsythe now. Forsythe takes in.
A good move by the young manager Kevin Cash to pinch hit Beckham for Alan Dykstra.
The Rays have really made their hits count. They have just 4 of them. 2 doubles, a triple, and a homer. Kiermaier a double. Longoria the RBI double. Asdrubal Cabrera a triple. And now Beckham a pinch hit home run.
And the Marlins bullpen still trying to iron things out.
That was very close. Forsythe got down the line, and I think Echeverria took a little more time than he probably should have.
Yeah, I think that was closer than he thought it was going to be.
That gentleman retrieving the home run ball.
I wonder if he knows that is Tim Beckham's first major league home run.
Well, hopefully someone's headed out there now. He's close to the Rays bullpen, is the closest pen to the Clevelander. So there might be a little trading going on between innings. Meanwhile, you're right, the Marlins bullpen has not been sharp. Not last night, and so far not so much for Mike Dunn. I think it looks like the bullpen is on the job.
Yeah, they're on top of things.
They're aware of it. They've opened negotiations. What can a bullpen offer a fan? What's in the bullpen?
Well, you know, you don't have any bats down there. I mean, if that fan maybe, depending on, see, here's the dilemma. Don't know if the fan is a Marlins fan or a Rays fan.
He was wearing a Dolphins cap.
Not a Buccaneers cap. Okay. So it depends on where he wants to go with his negotiations. Does he want some Rays memorabilia or possibly something from the Marlins?
Well, let's hope we get Beckham that baseball. Let's send Craig Minervini out there to act as the arbiter. Strike 3 call, the high breaking ball that came in, apparently led her high. Though Bobby Wilson looking up the scoreboard, hoping to glimpse a replay of it. Here's the pitch. I think Mike Dunn got a break.
Yeah, I think he did. You usually don't get that high strike call.
Now Archer, who has sprayed 2 ground balls to D. Gordon at second, his third at bat.
Boy, Archer cruising. He's still just at 69 pitches.
Which is great news for the Rays after just about everybody with a Rays jersey pitched an inning last night. All but Jepson, and we showed him earlier in the ball game. No 2 to Archer. Tim Beckham, a pinch hit home run to open up this 7th inning, his first major league homer. I'm sure for a guy like Beckham, who was a first overall pick in 08 and didn't really light it up in the minor leagues, but did slowly progress through each level.
A lot of games, over 600, almost 650 games in the minor leagues.
To finally get that first major league home run, it's got to feel pretty good. Swing and a miss. Mike Dunn strikes out Chris Archer, but the Rays get another run. And Craig Minervini right now trying to get that baseball for Tim Beckham. Run that ball still out. The Clevelander 2-0. Rays on top. Bottom 7. Let's go out to Craig Minervini.
Well, Rich, how'd you like to come to your first major league game and catch a home run ball? That's the case for Troy Cloudis. You've never been to a major league game?
No, never before.
Spring training?
Never before.
High school?
No, well, high school.
All right, I got you. But you caught this ball. Now a Rays fan a few rows over told you it's Tim Beckham's first major league home run?
Somebody told me that down here, yeah. But I didn't know that before.
Yeah. So what are you going to do?
I'm going to give it to him. It's his. It's his first ball. You can have it.
That's very nice of you. Would you? I'm sure maybe a Rays souvenir, but you're a Marlins fan.
I'm a Marlins fan, but, you know.
Whatever they do.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm okay.
Now, some people hold out, but you want him to have the ball. Why do you want to have the ball?
Because it's his first. I understand how that is. I'm not, you know, he can have it. It's his.
All right, we just talked to the Rays PR. They are thankful, and they will be giving you some kind of a Rays souvenir. We just got that word.
Okay.
That's very gracious of you. It's good to hear it, too, because you know what that means for Tim Beckham, huh?
Exactly. That's why he can have it.
First game, and he catches the ball. That's pretty neat, too. Now, what happened? It hit off the top there.
It hit up here and came right down in front of me.
Pretty easy to grab it.
Yeah, it was pretty easy.
Okay, Troy, thanks a lot. That's nice to hear, right? Rich and Tommy back
It is.
That's a really nice story, yes.
Especially first game, knowing that, you know, something like that means something to a guy like Beckham and didn't ask for anything in return. Nice of the Rays to offer a souvenir. And Beckham will have that baseball by the end of the game.
Well, good to hear the gentleman understands. Hey, it's his first.
Now, if it had been his 758th, it might be a little different. Yelich shoots that one to third. Longoria makes a nice clean pickup, throws across the diamond to Logan Forsythe. Christian Yelich is out number 1. Well, the story for the Rays is you see Forsythe has gone from second to first to make room for Beckham, who's now at second base. A look at Beckham. The story here is Chris Archer, who threw 6 1/3, has given up just 1 hit, has walked just 1. Here is Stanton now. Fastball misses in. Stanton has popped out, struck out. Morse is on deck.
Well, and he's faced, because the walk issued to Ichiro, he was thrown out. He's faced just 1 over the minimum. He's had a lightning fastball. Hitters haven't looked real comfortable. His slider's been working. A few change-ups.
Two and 1. Breaking ball, Stanton. And Longoria, a little bit of a bobble, but a clean throw across. And Archer has a pair of ground ball outs. So he had 2 outs here in the 7th inning.
He's clean over there, Evan Longoria.
He really is. There's the 1 hit. Yelich's double was down the third baseline. And now Morse, who was 0 for 2. Where they have a lot of pitching coming back online in the next month. If everything progresses the Rays way. Drew Smiley, Alex Cobb, Alex Colomé. Matt Moore will be a little later. Moore with Tommy John surgery is due early June. And Jake McGee, who will be closing games for the Rays when he returns, hopefully is within a week or 2. More swings and misses.
And a good slider. The other thing about Archer, he stayed down with the slider. When he's wanted to with the fastball, he's gone up. And he's got enough life on it that he can pitch up there with that pitch.
Morse takes in, counts 2 and 2. Swing and a miss. Chris Archer has been dominant here in Miami. Heads to the dugout, 7 innings in his back pocket, and he is shutting out the Marlins 2-0. TV Premium. You can watch every out-of-market game live on over 400 devices. There are actually 400 devices that get MLB.TV, and it includes an At-Bat 15 subscription. For more details, visit MLB.TV. You can watch Chris Archer as he mows down the American League. He's doing a number on a National League team today, shutting out Miami on just 1 hit, 5 strikeouts, a walk, a 2-0 Tampa Bay lead. Mike Dunn still in there, and Dunn throws a strike to Kevin Kiermaier, top of the order for the Rays.
Well, we told you about Archer's start against the Marlins last year. That was his only other start against Miami. He went 7 innings, gave up 5 hits and just 1 run, but he lost 1-0. Henderson Alvarez threw a 8-hit shutout.
There's the line, just 84 pitches.
He looks pretty relaxed.
He does.
You know, when I saw that shot, first thing I did was look into the Rays bullpen. But it's quiet.
High pop Echeverria. Steven Souza will come to the plate. Souza in the 2 spot. Mike Redmond climbing the steps. And Redmond will make the change. Sam Dyson getting ready for this right-hander. You've got Cabrera, the switch hitter, and then Longoria and Jennings, right-handed bats. And so Dyson comes in, Dunn exits. Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen.
Rich, you want good pitching. We've seen it this afternoon. Jared Cozart has been pretty good. This guy, Chris Archer, has even been better. 7 innings. He's given up just 1 base hit. This is how the Rays were able to get some runs on the scoreboard as Drupal Cabrera with a triple. Evan Longoria taking it the other way. He does that a lot. Into the gap for 2 bases. 1-0 lead for Tampa Bay, and then they added on first Major League home run for Tim Beckham. Almost put it into the Budweiser balcony bar, just like that. It's 2-0 Rays.
Look at the numbers for the Marlins. Just the 1 hit. Archer 5 strikeouts, 84 pitches, 57 of them strikes. There is a bit of activity in the Rays bullpen now, with 1 out. It's actually Sam Dyson, and he gets Steven Souza Jr. with his Drupal Cabrera on deck. There we go. Last year, a solid year for Dyson.
Well, the struggles last night, not only for Dyson, but for others in that bullpen, the struggles came in throwing strikes. So this is like kind of like falling off the bike and getting right back on, just to try to straighten things out.
Dyson issued 2 of the bases loaded walks. The Rays drew 3 of those in the 7th inning, amazingly, and that was part of what really was an epic comeback at the time.
Rich, is it falling off the bike or falling off the horse?
Both.
Use either, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, not many kids.
You knew what I meant.
Not many kids have access to horses anymore, Tommy. So I think the bike reference is good too.
Okay.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. It's in. If this were the Frontier days, then the horse would be appropriate.
Well, then we wouldn't be on cable either.
Well, we'd be recreating the game. Two. Well, it's been a rough start for Steven Souza as he strikes out. Souza 0 for 3 in this one, 0 for 6 in the series with 4 strikeouts.
Well, that's just a 94-mile-an-hour sinker. Look at the bottom fall out of that. Usually when you see a sinker drop that much, it's not that hard. But Dyson has a hard one.
Chris Archer has pitched so well here for the Rays. Sonny Gray is having another nice day for Oakland. He's 7 1/3 into his start, giving up a run. And Oakland leads Seattle 2-1. Gray, who flirted with a no-hitter on his opening day start. Dyson right at the knees, and it's 1-2. We told you that the Red Sox beat the Yankees 8-4. Boston is now 4-1, and the Yankees are 1-4.
Hey, talking about well-pitched games, I read a note this morning. There have been 14 shutouts thrown in the first 46 Major League games this year.
Well, there might be another one thrown here if Chris Archer stays out there. fundraiser for your organization, you can arrange your next group outing at Marlins Park. Ask about the all-new food and beverage options, including VIP groups, all-you-can-eat seats, and the new Clevelander Sunday Brunch. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com/groups. Puerto Rican Heritage shirts on Puerto Rican Heritage Day. Chris Archer Day. In fact, his day has finished. The Rays will make a pitching change to start the 8th inning. Kevin Jepsen did not work. The only guy in the bullpen who did not work in last night's ball game.
Spent a few years with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Came over for Matt Joyce.
Well, the Marlins are probably overjoyed that they don't have to face Archer anymore. Just somebody different. Prado, Ozuna, Saltalamacchia in the 8th. Jepsen's fastball is in there for a strike. Chris Archer, 7 innings, a hit, no runs, a walk, 5 strikeouts. His ERA dips to 2.13. Prado sends a fly ball down the right field line, and a long run and a slide there by Souza, and he can't get it.
You know, we have talked a lot, Rich, about Martin Prado as you watch the effort of Souza in right field just out of his reach. One of the nice stories that came out, I think we all kind of knew it, but we're keeping it under wraps because he did it that way. And Martin Prado, toward the end of spring training, invited almost 50 of the Latin players in camp, minor leaguers, major leaguers, didn't matter, and invited them out to dinner. Took them out, talked a little baseball. They enjoyed their time.
Oh, that's a swing. They're going to say that Prado swung. Phil Cuzzy, the first base umpire, Prado put both hands in the air, and he's not happy.
Well, I don't think Cuzzy will get an invite to dinner. Let's see. Wow.
It's not whether he breaks the plane of the plate, whether the bat crosses the first base line, or his wrist break. It's whether, in the umpire's judgment, he makes an attempt to strike at the ball, which to me gives a lot of gray area.
Yeah, there is on that call. And you and I say all the time it's one of the toughest.
Ozuna punches one into center field for a base hit. Miami has their second hit. So a strikeout of Prado, a single to Ozuna. Here comes Saltalamacchia.
The slider kind of stayed in, and so did the hand of Marcell Ozuna. Good solid swing.
Ozuna had struck out twice against Archer earlier in the ball game. Saltalamacchia is lined out and popped out. Ray's infield has really shifted, with Longoria the lone man on the left side. It's a strike from Jepsen.
It's that situation where sometimes it doesn't matter how well the guy is throwing who comes in this case, Kevin Jepsen. You're just seeing somebody different because you couldn't hit the other guy, Chris Archer. So sometimes you just like to see a fresh arm. That other guy was pretty good today.
He was. Archer was dominant. Christian Yelich double. The only hit off of Archer, Ozuna's hit. The second hit of the game for the ball club. The Marlins trail the Rays here 2-0. One and two to Saltalamacchia. Echeverria will follow. This is a part of the lineup that has been a trouble spot. This would obviously be game 5. But Saltalamacchia is 1 for 12. Echeverria is 1 for 17.
And 2 for 29.
Jepsen misses in. Counts 2-2.
David Price has it going for the Tigers today. He's thrown 5 shutout innings against last year's Cy Young winner Corey Kluber, the Indians.
It's all Telemakis, strikes out. 93-mile-an-hour fastball from Jepsen. Echeverria now with Ozuna still at first. Jepsen first out of the pen for the Rays. White Sox got their first win of the season. They beat the Twins 5-4. Reds got their first loss of the season. Cardinals beat them 4-1. Pitch is out. Boston beat the Yankees 8-4. Boston's 4-1. Yankees are 1-4. Detroit a 2-0 lead over Cleveland. The Tigers could go to 5-0 if they win that game. That's bottom of the 6th.
How about that game in New York today? Guys probably got to bed about 4 o'clock. By the time they showered, got home, and they had turnaround. They had a 1 o'clock game today.
All the way to the screen, and Ozuna is up 90 feet. Jepsen goes 2-0 to Echeverria.
Well, his second time today, the Marlins have gotten a runner in scoring position. That fastball just took off. He got by Wilson.
Now it's 3-0. Don Kelly is on deck for Miami. A strike to Echeverria, and it's 3-1. Marlins have used Ichiro as a pinch hitter. The rest of the bench is available. Kelly, Baker, Solano, Mathis. 3-1. Echeverria goes after it and pops it up. First base side. Forsythe over, and it's just beyond the dugout.
Not a good approach. When you get beat with a 3-1 fastball, that's not a good sign. And, you know, 3-1, that's the pitch you're looking for. That's the pitch Jepsen's going to give you. And Echeverria was late on it. Now you're not sure.
Another fastball, another pop-up. This one's going to stay in Forsythe's range. And he makes the catch. Jepsen finishes off Echeverria, and the Marlins are done in the 8th. Archer was all of that in a 7-inning start. The right-hander out of Clayton, North Carolina was dynamite.
Yeah, he had it all going. He had a fastball that was mid-90s consistently, a nasty slider, some change-ups, fielded his position, actually hit the ball okay, didn't get a hit, but swung the bat all right. And look at that, just one hit and no runs. That hit was a 4th-inning double off the bat of Christian Yelich. So and the Rays fans have come over and they're happy what they've seen today.
They should be. The Rays are 3 outs away from evening this series. To the 9th, 2-0 Tampa Bay. And it's Dyson facing Evan Longoria.
Rich, with Longoria's double, RBI double in the 6th inning, he has now become the Rays' all-time extra base hits leader. That was his 425th extra base hit, passing Carl Crawford.
Roller up the middle, Echeverria there, and a nice throw from a difficult position to get Longoria. Echeverria was deep and over, which meant he had to go a long way to get that one.
Watch the smoothness. It kind of comes back on him a little bit, but he stays right there with it. The transfer, the balance, the acrobatic delivery. That's a thing of beauty.
Accurate delivery as well. Desmond Jennings now. Jennings 0 for 2 in this ball game. Tampa Bay has 4 hits. They've all been for extra bases. Kevin Kiermaier doubled in the 4th. That was the first hit off Jared Kozar. Asdrubal Cabrera a triple in the 6th. Longoria RBI double in the 6th. And then Tim Beckham, pinch hitting, hit his first major league home run. A mammoth shot to left. Two and one. Sonny Gray was all lined up for the win for Oakland until Nelson Cruz just bopped a 3-run homer off Oakland's bullpen. Dan Otero gave it up, and it's 4-2 Seattle in the 8th. Slow roller. Now Prado will be tested, and he gets it. And with 2 outs, here comes Beckham again.
Guess it's safe to say one bullpen that hasn't struggled this year has been Atlanta's.
No, and that's amazing because when Atlanta was here, you know, they had the first 3 out of the bullpen with experience: Avilan, Johnson, and of course Grilly. But after that, Freddie Gonzalez had 3 guys that had never pitched in the big leagues and one that had a cup of coffee. And the Braves are 4-0. They've got the Mets tonight in Atlanta.
Good stuff. Nice turnaround from Sam Dyson. He's throwing the ball well here today.
Billy Bo, the lefty, Boxberger, who closed out the Rays' only win of the season against the Orioles. That was the 2-0 win on Wednesday. It's 1-2 to Beckham. If you weren't with us, Beckham's home run ended up in the Clevelander, and a gentleman that caught it attending his first major league game, when told that it was Beckham's first home run in the big leagues, that gentleman said, "You know what? he can have the baseball, and he didn't ask for anything. The Rays organization looks like they've given him a bat. That one's going to roll into center field. A base hit for Beckham.
So needless to say, a memorable trip to the ballpark for that gentleman.
Tomorrow on Fox Sports Florida, Rays and Marlins. Marlins Live kicks it off at 12:30 over on Sun Sports. Rays Live, Todd Callis, who I'm sure along with Dwayne and Brian Anderson have been relaxing today. I think I heard them saying as they walked out yesterday that their spot treatments were scheduled.
I think Todd was in charge of all of that.
Beckham might be on the move here, and Dyson, suspecting that, chases him back with a throw. Who would have thought the Rockies would be 4-0 at this point? They play the Cubs in Denver tonight.
Well, it's pretty much the same story the last few years for the Rockies. Things are always a lot better for them when Carlos Gonzalez, Tulowitzki are healthy, and they both are.
Milwaukee 0-4. Beckham not running. Dyson misses to Logan Forsythe, who has 3 ground ball outs.
Well, the Marlins will have a pinch hitter, and then back to the top of the order in the bottom half of the 9th inning.
Runner goes, and the throw not in time. Beckham swipes the bag.
That's just pretty good base running. Not a bad throw from Salty. Got rid of it quickly, but Beckham just outran it.
Striking, it's 2-1. Former Ray James Shields in action tonight. He and Madison Bumgarner, a rematch. Those two matched up twice in the World Series last year. It's tonight at Petco Park. Giants and Padres. Games 1 and 5. Diving stop. Prado on his feet. Pump fake. And Prado trying to get to the bag. Beckham coming back. They collided. Beckham came off the bag, but the third base umpire, Will Little, immediately excused the absence of Beckham from third base.
Look at that, diving across into foul territory. He realized he was not going to have a play at first base. Forsythe runs pretty well. So his only hope was maybe put a little decoy and get Beckham to round the bag further than he did.
So it's an infield hit. Beckham is 90 feet away. Bobby Wilson was scheduled. The Rays are going to go with Rene Rivera, the other catcher on the roster, in the absence of John Jaso.
Rivera looking for his first hit this season. 0 for 15 start. That's one of those moves, kind of an interesting move, that you'd have to get into the head of Kevin Cash, the
Broken bat. Caught. Echeverria. Full extension. And he brought it down. And he saves a run. The broken bat gave Echeverria just enough time to get there.
And well-timed it was.
Bottom of the ninth, Rays up 2-0. Florida Honda dealers by Checkers. Get Checkers Authentic Philly Cheesesteak. Try the new Meatball Sub. Pick yours. 2 for $5 and by Chevrolet. Marlins Rays Series sponsorship is presented by Chevrolet. 2-0 Rays on top. Bottom of the ninth. Brad Boxberger in for Tampa Bay. And for Boxberger, he was at the end of the line last night. Miami picked up a run in the 10th. Christian Yelich won it with an RBI single. Yelich is scheduled in this inning third. Donovan Solano will pinch hit to lead it off. D. Gordon, then Yelich. If anybody reaches, Stanton, then Morse.
That's who you want to get to.
Changeup and a strike.
When you see a right-handed pitcher throw that changeup to a right-handed hitter, you know it's a pitch that he likes to use. And remember last night, Christian Yelich saying that he was sitting on changeup the first couple of pitches. He eventually hit the fastball into left field for the game-winning hit.
Solano fouls off a fastball. 92 on the gun. Boxberger has the only save for the Rays. They saved their only win. It's kind of by committee right now for Kevin Cash until Jake McGee comes back. Solano, a slow roller out to short. He's dribbled Cabrera onto first. And there's one out. Trying to put the finishing touches on a shutout, a 7-inning masterpiece from Chris Archer. Gave up just one hit. Kevin Jepson gave up a single in the 8th. So Miami has just 2 hits. We've got NHL hockey, Panthers hockey, Devils, Panthers on Fox Sports Florida coming up right after our telecast. Gordon trying to get on base, slaps it foul. Gordon was all over the bases last night, scored 4 runs, was 3 for 5, had an on base of 389 coming in, but he's bounced out 3 times in this one. To Hopper, Cabrera has to hustle, and he does, and he makes that play. So Boxberger has a pair of grounders to shortstop. Yelich is the last hope for the Marlins as he tries to, at the very least, get Stanton in at bat before this one is done. Toyota Trend, 354 at home since late July of last year.
I think this is just a perfect ballpark for Stanton. He can hit him out of any ballpark, but for Christian Yelich too, with the spacious outfield.
Yelich takes away, and it's 2-1.
There's that Boxberger changeup.
And a strike.
Yelich may have been thinking changeup again.
See what he gets. 2-2. Low fastball. Rivera held it, and it's full now. 3-2. Does he dare throw a changeup with Stanton on deck?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, he likes it. It's a good pitch for him, but you would think he would just throw something he feels he can throw for a strike. And he threw the changeup, so he's really confident in that pitch. And throwing it in that situation tells you that.
Three-two coming. And it's out. Yelich walks, and here comes Stanton. Super at bat by Christian Yelich. Well, the Marlins have Stanton at the plate, down by 2, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. Yelich at first.
They're not holding Yelich on at first base either.
Change up in. Stanton 1 for 1. That one a home run. His numbers against Brad Boxberger. He had a rip there, and he got another change up. It's a ball and a strike.
It's a pitch that a lot of right-handed hitters don't see a lot from right-handed pitchers.
It's outside. Morse is on deck. He's not throwing a fastball to Stanton yet. The Rays are giving Yelich second base, but as of yet, he's not taken it. He does now, and Stanton swings and misses. It counts 2-2. And yet another changeup. So 4 pitches to Stanton. All have been changeups. Rivera wants to make sure that he and Boxberger are on the same page with Yelich out at second base.
Yeah, I think all changeups. I think one slider. I think he showed him a slider that was off the plate.
Infield shifted way around to the left side. Boxberger ready. 3-2 coming. Got him! He threw a fastball and he fooled him. Stanton caught looking. Boxberger closes. Archer will win it, and the Rays even the series. How about that for cat and mouse? Boxberger 4 changeups. Finally a fastball, and he gets the strikeout.
Boy, he fooled Giancarlo, threw that fastball by him. The last thing he was thinking about in that situation, after all the off-speed stuff.
And the Rays, who had that epic comeback last night, but did not get a win, get the win here behind Chris Archer. Tim Beckham's first big league homer. Evan Longoria knocks in a run. We're back after this.